Hey guys, Gerald Richardson here, realtor and real estate investor. So I wanted to, it's been a while since I've done a video, real estate related type video. So I wanted to do a video and talk about this latest house that we purchased, latest project in Durham, North Carolina. And while I'm talking about this house, I also was probably talk a little bit about the market too, the current market here in North Carolina, in the Raleigh-Durham area. So we recently purchased a 2-bedroom townhome in Durham, North Carolina, in the Stonewall Village area in North Durham. As many of you guys know who know me know that I typically don't like buying townhomes or condos to flip or even as rental properties. We do have 2 other townhomes that we do have in our rental portfolio, but those were units that we bought new construction, and that's been working really well. But typically I don't like buying resale or older townhomes and condos, mostly because of the HOA fees. You know, as townhomes and condos age, as they start to age, their HOA fees or the maintenance or the cost to maintain the property increases over the years, and it makes your HOA fees increase over time as well. So that's one of the reasons why I typically don't like buying townhomes. But this particular deal that came across our desk, looking at the initial numbers, I thought it was great. The plan was to make it a quick flip, go in and out in a couple months, and make decent money. Decent money as far as a flip. So it's an off-market deal. We bought directly from the seller. Well, really, it was from the seller's son. So the seller is the mother. Well, the son actually had to put his mother into a home, and then they were looking to offload her townhome. So they came, they approached us. We discussed numbers with the son. The numbers work really well as far as for them as well as for us. However, during the time for him to do all the necessary paperwork and the admin stuff to get the power of attorney and all the property, him being authorized to sell the property for his mom, I noticed in that area, well, really in the overall area here in Raleigh-Durham, is that the market is starting to soften. Homes that I noticed, are staying on the market, are starting to stay on the market a lot longer than they have in the past few years, and there's more listings coming on the market too at the same time. So those are signs that the market somewhat has softened recently. So in those couple months that we're waiting for the contract or for the son to be able to sell us the house, I noticed the market softened. As an investor who does flips or who plans to do a flip, I tend to not be excited about that, almost to the point where I really didn't want to do this flip. I really didn't want to buy this property and do this flip because of the market changing. But knowing that the type of person I am and making a promise with a seller that I'm going to buy his property at a certain price, bearing any other unforeseen circumstances that would prevent me from buying a house, I always make do of my agreements. So again, I don't want to make it. I think it's a dick move if you agree to buy a house from a homeowner or seller at an agreed price that really works for you and for the seller, and then you decide to change the terms. Most times other people who change the terms for no reason or because of the conditions of the market change, it really is, in my opinion, a dick move. So, and I didn't want to do that, the type of person I am. So we, even with the market softening and realizing that what we could sell the house for, the after repair value is going to be less than what I initially planned on, I still decided to move forward with the deal, to buy it at the agreed price with the son. So we finally, he finally got the documents in order, went on a contract, and so for this deal, I'm actually using a hard money bridge loan, 1-year bridge loan, to finance the purchase and do a renovation reimbursement as we do the renovations. So it's the hard money bridge loan. So the plan was to use that, do the rehab, and put it back in the market again. When we went on the contract, that was the plan. However, even when just recently buying this property, I did notice that has been 5 other listings in that particular community that went on the market too. So it got me, first, I was thinking, what's going on? Why are all these properties just hitting the market all at the same time? Got me a little worried. So I had to look into more of it, and really I couldn't find a real reason why these folks are deciding to sell the property all of a sudden, other than maybe it's the fear of missing out, right? So last year or a few years ago, even a couple of months ago, any unit in this particular neighborhood, when it comes on the market, it's snatched up pretty quick, and they've been selling at a very high price. And I think the reason why is because the townhomes, there are a lot of townhomes coming on the market through new construction, but a lot of those new constructed townhomes are selling for 400,000 plus. So there's a gap in the necessary housing for folks who are looking for a townhome, where they can't really afford the 400,000, but they may be able to afford the 250, 300,000 price range. And there's no new construction, there's no townhomes or any new construction are selling at that price point. So there's that gap that's been fulfilled by older resale homes, and particular townhomes that are in that gap. So and that's the reason why that's why I was excited, particularly for this unit, initially when we're going to buy it, because I know that folks who are wanting to buy a townhome but can't afford the 400,000 price tag should be able to afford this townhome that we're going to sell it, the after repair value, that what we're going to sell it for. So I think the reason why all these listings are hitting the market all at the same time, again, these sellers, they thinking, hey, all these last few years, they're seeing their neighbors are selling these townhomes and making very good money. And I guess when everybody's starting to notice that the market's starting to soften a little bit, and maybe these sellers, fear of missing out, I guess FOMO, was that they want to hurry and put their house on the market to try to sell it and try to at least capture some value, or capture the potential equity they have in the home. But the unrealized consequences of all these sellers are putting a house on the market all at the same time, all in the same area, is that potentially we could have a spiral where everybody are competing with each other, and eventually someone's going to have to, in order to sell their property, or need to sell their property, they're going to have to lower the price more and more in order to sell, and that's going to cause a cascading, or cause an effect where everybody's going to start lowering their prices. And it's that's expected. As more properties hit the market and more competition, prices usually do drop. So that's the fear, not the fear, but the concern that I have. So with this property, so now we have revised our plan so it went from being a quick flip, a 2-month flip, to now we're looking at finishing the rehab. We're going to finish the rehab, but we're going to probably keep the townhouse for a year or two, and keep an eye on the market and see if conditions change again, where we can sell it in the future. So with making that decision, there's several things that we have to do or keep in mind. Again, we're planning on completing the rehab, but we have to maybe not go with as high as finishes that we thought we were going to have, but maybe not as high as the finishes, but we can't go cheap. So it's pretty much this is going to have to be a renovation on the budget, but we can't make it look like it's a renovation on the budget, because in order to do a refi into a rental loan, the townhome still has it has to be a certain appraised value in order to make it work for us. So we can't go too cheaply on the finishes, but we can't go too high, because we're going to have to renovate on the budget without making it look like it's cheap. So that's something that we have to be mindful of with this renovation. So let me I guess back up a little bit. So the plan is to refi the property. Once we're done with renovation, we're going to use what's called a DSCR loan, a debt service and cover ratio loan, to refi from the bridge loan to the DSCR loan and keep it as a rental. The plan is to make it a 30-year fix, DSCR loan. But with DSCR loans, in addition to having the appraised value meet the numbers of what we need at the ARV, at the repair value, the market rent also has to be a certain amount that would cover the ratio of the debt service, the loan, what we have to pay monthly for the loan. The actual market rent has to be able to cover that at a certain percentage in order to get loan approval. So we have to be mindful of that as well, which, and I guess I will explain a little bit as I show the property of what of a type of rental we're going to do, and maybe some of the little adjustments we're going to do with bedrooms, try to maximize the rent that we should be able to get for the unit, and I'll show that to you once I get to the house. That's the plan right now. Again, initially I was excited to do a quick flip, but market conditions has changed since then. Both the overall market for Raleigh, Durham, and as well as more the localized for the community. Market has softened, more listings are coming to market. Interest rates are still relatively high. There are a lot of economic uncertainties that's going on, especially with the tariffs of what's going to happen with that or not. So buyers are a lot more hesitant to buy. Some sellers are trying to capture their equity and put their house in the market, hoping not that the market doesn't fall too much and they miss out on that opportunity of make money or selling their house. So there's that dynamic that we're looking at right now. Home prices are still relatively sticky, but I think it's only a matter of time as more listings come on the market that we're going to start seeing folks or sellers are going to realize that they're going to have to drop the price, and the prices might have to come down to a point where buyers are comfortable again, even with the higher interest rates to buy. I don't think it's going to drop as much as it had or will back in the 2008 crash. Potentially it may drop to what it was as far as home values to what we were seeing back in 2019 pre-pandemic, because since pre-pandemic to now, home prices values has skyrocketed. So we may find that the short incline, we may find ourselves on the decline of that and maybe reach back into what we were seeing back in 2019 potentially. I think that's what's going to happen. Maybe not so much in 2019, but still not as much of a drop in values that we experienced back in 2008. But we'll see. I mean, that's part of the real estate market, and how it reacts to external and internal factors or forces. So that's where we're at with this project. Again, I'm actually on the way on. I'm in the car now. I'm about to head over there, check out the work. We already done the demo. I think we already started paint, but we'll see when I get over there and check out. So yeah, that's the plan, and let's I guess we'll head over there. So there's one thing I forgot to add, was that when I talked about the DSCR loan, so this project is going from being a quick flip into us keeping it as a rental property, where we're using a bridge loan for the renovation and the acquisition, the purchase, and the renovation. And we're going to have to refinance that bridge loan into a DSCR loan. So with the DSCR loan, in addition to the appraised value covering the debt, we also have to make sure the market rent also covers the debt. And with the rate that we're getting with the DSCR loan, in order for the cash flow and fall underneath the market rent, we're going to have to keep the funds the cash that we use for the acquisition, the holding costs, as well as the renovation. We have to keep those money into the project and won't be able to recoup it until we actually sell it down the road. Initially, typically with flips or even with a cash out refinance, we're able to get the money back. The money we put in for the acquisition, the money we put into the renovation, a reimbursement, and money we put into the holding costs. But with this project, in order to make it cash flow, we have to keep the money in, and we won't be able to get that money back until we're actually able to sell it sometime down the line. So that's what kind of sucks about this project, with us doing this pivot. And then the reason why we have to do when I say the renovation on the budget, is that the money we put in, we know we won't be able to get it back right away. So until a couple of years down the road at least. So I wanted to add that to the video before I actually show the house. All right, let's check out. All right, guys. So I'm here at the property. Oh, actually, let me go outside real quick. Show the outside. So I'm at the townhome. Again, it's a 2-bedroom townhome here in Durham. Wall Village. Here's what the outside looks like. All right, let's walk in real quick. All right, so when you walk in, of course, here's the living room. So this is what it looks like now. So we finished the demo. You can see they already started painting it. There's other work that needs to be done. Washer and dryers there. So we did the demo. We ripped out the cabinets. We're gonna replace the cabinets just where the oven was here, the sink was here, refrigerator was right there. Remove all the cabinets. They did have this some kind of chase that was hanging down from the ceiling, and that's got to be removed. Let's see. We did have, so it's a new furnace. So it was an older aqua unit furnace that we had removed and replaced with a traditional electric furnace. And there should be Let's see, a new compressor back here too as well. Yeah, see, new compressor is right here. New compressor. So let's go up there. Okay, so it looked like they paint, but I know there's some more work that needs to be done, so they're gonna probably need to come, the painters gonna probably need to come back, because I know we plan on doing some more sheetrock work in here, especially with this demo stuff. So they're gonna probably, painters can probably come back. Here's the bathroom. I liked, well, here's the bathroom. So when I say renovate on the budget, so we're going to make the place look as nice as possible, but without look as nice as possible on the budget. Probably not going to go with the higher end finishes, more mid-level finishes. Still make it look really nice, but not cheap. And one of the things we're going to do with the renovation on budget is that we're going to probably keep, well, we're going to keep the toilet, the shower, and the vanity as is. We probably just end up replacing just the fixture and the sink. But as far as the vanity and everything else, we're going to probably keep as is. We're going to redo the floors though, make the floors the same throughout, continuously from the front door all the way through the back. Probably some LVP floors for the bathroom as well. But for the renovation on the budget, we're gonna have to do some stuff, like keep some stuff that we not have necessary as done, you know, on the full flip. You know, replace the vanities we typically would have done, but we're going to keep the vanities, maybe keep some of the other fixtures. We'll see. So with this kitchen, we demoed the kitchen, but the layout is what the reason. So initially, the thought was that we were going to keep the cabinets, original cabinets, and just change out the countertops. But what I thought, as far as functionality, was because I felt that the sink was in the wrong place, and the oven was over here, was in the wrong place, because there was a hood vent right there with the oven, and what I wanted was move the sink over here with the countertop extending out, facing out towards the living room, and put the oven right here with a microwave above that with exhaust fan. I want to do that more for functionality, and plus I felt it was just awkward with how the oven and the sink was originally located. So if we were truly doing, so this is something I want to have done, especially for a true flip, but now we're, you know, it's not a true flip, it's a renovation on the budget. I still felt like we still need to have done it. Otherwise, we probably would have just kept the cabinets and everything in the same location for the budget. But I felt that was needed because the layout was too awkward, especially with the kitchen already being on the smaller size. So we were just going to flip the location of the oven and the sink, and just have, when you're washing dishes, you're actually looking out towards the living room. So that's the living room. Well, I mean the kitchen. Here's the living room and front door. You got vaulted ceilings with skylights. So one of the bedrooms is actually in back, which is kind of awkward because in order to get to the backyard, you have to go through one of the bedrooms. You got the laundry area here. I'll show you where the furnace was, is in this closet. New thermostats right there. We're going to keep the washer and dryer. We're just going to put it back in the closet once we're ready. Let's go upstairs to check out the bedrooms. Again, we're going to replace the floors. We're also going to redo the kitchen, or the carpet, new carpet. The question was, put new carpet or put new LVP on the second floor. Actually, it's actually cheaper to do the carpet, come back with new carpet, so we decided to do that. Otherwise, for a higher end flip, we may have just also done LVP to match the first floor, but because we're doing a renovation on the budget, we're just gonna do a replacement with a carpet, which should help out with the budgets. So here's the other bedroom with a bath. There's the tub. So we actually removed the toilet that was there. We removed it. So because the plan is for this bathroom, well, I guess one of the changes that we are going to do with this property, because we plan on keeping it as a rental, but we know that the rent is only, we can only rent it for a certain amount because it's only a 2-bedroom. And it's going to stay a 2-bedroom. But what we're going to do is, with this loft, plan right now with this loft is to sheetrock it, I guess, enclose it, you know, the sides, enclose it, and put a door right here at the entrance, sheetrock it, enclose it, maybe put some, leave an open up here so that the natural light can still come into the room. And we'll just call this, we'll essentially convert in this loft into a flex room that can also be used as bedroom. Technically, it won't be a bedroom because there won't be a second egress, but it'd be a flex room that potentially can be used as a bedroom. So when I do rent it out, I'm not going to rent it out as a 2-bedroom. I'm going to be renting it out as a 2+ bedroom type thing, or essentially almost a 3-bedroom, essentially a 3-bedroom rental, 2+, 3-bedroom rental, which should give us a higher rent when we do rent it out. So a higher market rent. So with the plans to enclose this into a flex room and close the walls and put a door right here, we also want to give access to the bathroom that's in the primary room, give access to the bathroom from this room. So we're going to do, we're looking at putting a door right here. That's one of the reasons why we removed the toilet right here. So in the bathroom, we removed the toilet because we're going to put a door right there. We're going to do something, relocate this vanity, probably make it smaller, put a door right there, relocate the toilet, or try to fit the door in between the toilet and the vanity. So the plan is to have the people that are staying in that new flex space will still have access to the bathroom, as well as the person, the people that are staying in the primary. Again, the plan is it's still essentially is a 2-bedroom townhome, but when I rent it out, I'm going to rent it out as a 2+ bedroom, a 3-bedroom rental, which should give us a higher market rent when we do rent it out. So that's what it looks like, guys. As I was saying, initially I thought it was going to be a quick flip, but because of the change of the market conditions, both in Raleigh, Durham, and with this area, with so many other units coming on the market at the same time, we pivot our plan a little bit to keep it as a rental for at least a year or two, refi as it with a DSCR loan, keep it as a rental unit. And we're going to make some changes to the bedrooms as well as the kitchen in order so that we can get a higher market rent for the property for the time that we do keep it as a rental. So that's pretty much the project as the way we have right now. It's like, obviously we have a lot more work to go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to probably add the before pictures or video of what it looked like before, so you guys get an idea what it looked like before when we first bought the property compared to what it looks like now. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. Let me know what questions you guys have, and I'd be happy to answer them. Or or if you have any recommendations what I can do with the space, so let me know as well. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.